We're going to learn 3.4 today. Hopefully we'll get some practicing, and then I'll clean this board off, and then maybe we'll even try on the board. I'll put the grid up there, though, so you don't have to try to draw your graphs, because I know how awful that can be. Okay, so 3.4. The title is Slope, Intercept, Form. So the reason we learn slope is so then we can then use it in an equation to graph. This is what you probably remember doing in middle school. Okay, that's probably why you don't remember how to do slope. It just kind of all mushed together in your mind. Okay, so this is a formula. It looks like this. Y equals mx plus b. Oh, I remember that. That's coming back to you. We just talked about this yesterday. What does m stand for? Slope. Okay, look, the word slope is in the title, slope is in the equation. Does anyone remember what b stands for? Anyone? It's okay if you don't. It stands for our y-intercept on the graph. Remember, our y-axis is the up and down line? And then x and y will always stay x and y, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to have to make an equation, however they give it to us. Then we are going to have to graph it. So we're going to start with making an equation, then we'll go to graphing, okay? Let's do the easy version first, okay? Sometimes it is as easy as this. It'll give you this information. It'll say write an equation in slope-intercept form. Again, this form. It'll say, hey, your slope, it'll write the word out, and it'll give you a number, like 7. And it'll say, hey, y-intercept, and then it'll give you a number, like 5. It wants you to write the equation. So it wants you to take these numbers and put it in this equation. Well, you already have letters that represent these things. So all we're going to do is replace those letters with numbers. Anyone want to take a shot and tell me what you think their equation is? Jalen? Correct. Why'd you say plus 5? Yeah, and 5 is? Yes, 5 is positive. What if 5 would have been negative? What do we put there? Yeah, we put minus 5, right? That's the correct answer. Isn't that pretty easy? Okay. How about your slope is negative 3/4. It's okay, it's a fraction. Your y-intercept is negative 9. Can we write this equation? Right, we just got to plug it in. There's really no math involved, is there? Oh, I'll answer his phone, you do that. Hello? Mm-hmm. He said he ate something this morning. He didn't feel so good after he ate breakfast. How you feeling right now, Aiden? He said he feels like trash, is what he said. Aiden, are you okay to sit here? Or how you feeling? He said he'll be okay. Okay. She said she tried to get a hold of your peeps, but they didn't answer. But if you want some Tums, huh? You want some Tums? I think I have some in that box you gave me. Okay. Bye. Okie dokie. Who wants to tell me the equation? Derek. I don't know. I couldn't even. Ooh, I couldn't even write it. Look, my floor looks all kinds of crazy. Y equals negative 3/4 x minus 9. He mumbled it into it so fast I couldn't even think. Speed talker. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're still going to do the same thing. Do you have a color preference? I always have a color preference. Anybody else? Well, she gave me permission and she filled this, so I'm allowed to do it. Speaking of that, I have cough drops in here. Ice packets?
Yeah, to help with the stomach.
Here it's Tums. Okay. You're getting a little too feisty. Okay, now, you crazy people, we're gonna do the same thing. We want our final answer to look like this, but it's not gonna be this easy. Now they're gonna give us an equation already. It's just not gonna be with y by itself. Okay, here's an example. Negative 4x plus y equals 2. So it says, write it in slope-intercept form, obviously. Then tell me what the slope and the y-intercept are. So we can't tell them what the slope and y-intercept are until it's in y equals mx plus b form. So how do we rearrange this equation using our addition and subtraction to get y by itself? Derek. Yeah, I want to take this 4x and it needs to be over here in front of the 2 because that's what this equation says. How do I take negative 4x and move it to the other side? Connor. Add it. So I'm going to add 4x to both sides of the equal sign. All right, so on this side, these cancel out. I just have y equals, and Derek already said the 4x should go in front, so 4x, and then 2 is positive, so plus 2. The rest of the instruction said state the slope and the y-intercept. So I should write, you can either say the word slope or I would just write m is and b is. So what's the number that represents m? 4, just 4, it's just a number. What's the number that represents b? 2. And that would be your answer. Technically, the other part is to graph it, but we're not there yet, okay? Is that pretty easy? Okay, we're going to move it up a step, okay? We're just going to keep working on these types of equations. I'm going to just flip it instead of trying to write on the side. Okay. How about this one? 2x plus y equals negative 6. Again, the instructions say write it in slope-intercept form, then state the slope and the y-intercept. So what are we going to do to get this in slope-intercept form? CJ, how am I going to move my 2x so the y is by itself? Yep, minus 2x from both sides of the equal sign. The 2x minus 2x, those cancel out. We just have y equals, which one's going to go first? The negative 2x. And I keep the minus 6 in front of it. Then we have to label. My slope is, my y-intercept is. What represents my slope? What number? Oop, negative 2. What represents my b? Negative 6. Okay, we're going to try a harder one when there's a number in front of y. Negative 3x plus 7y equals 21. Yeah, I was just about to ask you to. Okay, now this one we have 2 steps we're going to have to do to get y by itself. What are we going to do first? Still, what are we going to do first to get y by itself? Jalen? Yep, add the 3x to both sides. Make sure you keep the x with the 3. Ooh. Wakey, wakey. It'll come back in just a second. So then those cancel out. I still have 7y equals, what's going to go in front? 3x, and then what I'm going to write after the 3x? Plus 21, because it's positive, and those are two separate numbers. Is y completely by itself yet, Connor? No. What do I need to do to get y by itself, Connor? What is y and 7 doing if they're right next to each other? Multiplying. So how to get rid of multiplying? Yep, so we're going to divide everything separately by 7. Everything individually, every single number separately by 7. Over here, the 7s, because they're the same thing on top and bottom, they cancel out because that's 1. That gives 1y left. Can you actually divide 3 divided by 7? Nope, so it stays the fraction, 3 over 7. We keep the x. Can we divide 21 by 7? Yes. What's that turn into? So I'm going to put plus 3 because it was positive. Now, what is my slope? What is my y-intercept? Yep, my slope is 3/7. Y-intercept is 3. Is this making sense? Yes, everybody. Okay, we'll do one more of these before we change it when there's only one variable instead of 2. Last example like this one. 6x minus 4y equals 16. Do you really need a cough drop? You don't need it. I'll give it to you. I only have so many. You don't need it. They're not very good. What are we going to do to solve this one? Jalen? Yep. Do you notice that we're always subtracting the x? We're always moving the x first? It's always the same, right? Now we move the x's. What's going to be left on this side? Negative 4y equals, what am I going to write on the right side? Yes, don't forget that negative. Is y by itself yet? No, Jesse, what am I going to do to get y by itself? Yep, divide everything individually by negative 4. Ran out of room. It's chaos scoot this way. All right, so the y just becomes y. Negative 6 divided by negative 4. Those are both even, so I would type that in and see if it simplifies. It is going to be a fraction, but it's going to be a simplified fraction. What's it going to be, Blake? Which is what is an improper fraction? Yes. So 3 over 2 times x, because a negative over negative is a positive. And then what's positive 16 divided by 4? Yep, minus 4, so negative 4. Then again, what's my slope and what's my y-intercept? What number represents my slope, Katie? My 3 over 2. What represents my y-intercept, CJ? Yep, but what number here? Negative 4. Okay. Now, if they give us this equation, y equals 3. That's the equation they give us. That's it. It's going to ask us to put it in slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form says y is by itself. Is y by itself and everything else is technically already on the other side. So is this already in slope-intercept form? For this version? Yes. Okay. Now we need to say what is the slope and what's the y-intercept? There is no slope because there's no x, right? So what number represents there is nothing there? 0. Correct. And then your y-intercept, right? Y equals mx plus b is that whole number at the end. So do we have a y-intercept on this? Yeah, what's the number? Correct. Good job, guys. Good, good. Very good. Okay, now I told you yesterday I was going to teach you something because we're going to have to be able to graph this, aren't we? Well, we don't know how to yet. So I told you I was going to teach you a saying. And then I'm going to show you, we're going to do all these graphs. The saying is, I'm going to fit it in all the space somewhere. It's, first word is vux. V-U-X. It sounds funny. Vux. Second word's my favorite one. Hoi. Write them down because we're going to write what each letter means. I'm getting blue all over my hand. V, so these are two separate words, right? V stands for vertical line. What does a vertical line look like? Up and down. So if it helps you, draw the up and down line. The U. What word did we learn yesterday that describes a type of slope that starts with a U? Undefined. So undefined slope. So vertical lines have an undefined slope and their equation looks like this. X equals a number. That's our equation. So they'll only have one variable. It'll be x equals a number. That is their equation. So that if we ever see x equals something, just like that says y equals, we'll know it. Now it can help us graph it. Now, hoi. I go, hoi. I don't know why, because I always do. If V is vertical line, what do you think H stands for? Horizontal. Horizontal line. Again, horizontal means left to right. What does this look like right there? A 0. This is 0 slope. And based on what we just talked about, what's the equation going to look like? Y equals a number. So that saying will help you graph because these lines will always be straight, either up and down or left and right. All these other ones that have X and Y, they're going to be some kind of diagonal. Remember, either a positive slope, so left to right they go up, or a negative slope, which means left to right they go down. Remember we talked about that yesterday? Now what we're going to do is we're going to take all these problems we've solved and we're going to graph them. Okay? Which is why I have graphs in my blue hand. I'm going to switch markers. Okay, so the first equation we had was y equals 4x plus 2. Again, what's our slope? What number represents our slope? 4. What represents our y-intercept? 2. To graph something, you always start with whatever this number is. So positive 2. Bessie, which one's my y-intercept? My y-axis again. My left or right line or my up and down line? Up and down. So remember, this point in the middle Zip. I heard you. I just ignored it. This is 0. That says positive 2. So you're going to count 1, 2, up 2. So everybody else, sorry, you have to draw these. You have to go up 2. Plot the point. Then we use the slope. Remember yesterday when we talked about slope, I said we should always talk about slopes in fraction form. What is 4 as a fraction? 4 over 1. 1. Ooh. And remember we talked about these words? Rise over run. Which rise can either go up or down. Which way do we always run? To the right. So we're going to start. I'm going to erase that other point I had. Okay. We're going to start at that point and we're going to go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to run 1. How many points do you need to make a line? At least 2. You can always have more, right? If we wanted to show this line more, we could do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. Now, to really make a line, don't we have to actually make the line? What's good to help you make a line if you're not good at drawing? A ruler. Well, I have a ruler right here. It's blue. Do you think there's rulers in this room somewhere? Have you seen them? Have you seen them? They're up in that basket up in the front. That brown basket up there has rulers in it. Isn't that crazy? It's like they're up there for you to use or something. So then you can use it because when you draw a line, you should extend it all the way across your picture. If you have a ruler, does that make everything easier? For sure. So does anyone want a ruler? You can get one if you want. Just like if you're doing your homework and you want to do it in study hall, you can always ask to borrow a ruler as long as you bring it back. If you don't have one, you can always use the side of a notebook or a piece of paper or something. Your finger is not straight. Last time I checked. Yes, as long as you don't break it. You know what? I'm impressed too, to be honest. I wouldn't say that. What kind of slope is this? Positive, negative, 0, or undefined? Positive, right? Because 4 is positive. Okay. Let's do the next one. The next equation we had was y equals negative 2x minus 6. If you want to use, you know what? If you want to use one of those papers I gave you, you can. I'll just give you another one. I think you only need 15 of them, of those papers, of those boxes, and you have 12 on one sheet. So if you save one sheet, you'll be okay. So now again, y-intercept first. Start at the middle, go down 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. Now this one, what's my slope? Yep, always think of it as a fraction. Negative 2 over 1. The top number is the only thing that can ever be negative. Do we ever make the bottom number negative? No. So start here. Are we going to go up or down, Jesse, if 2 is negative? Down. So down 2. Which way am I going to go? Which way am I going to run, though? Always to the right. That's really small, right? If I want to help me out, I would always do it twice. 1, 2 over 1. 3 points make it way easier. Mine's always going to smear because I'm using markers. Connect them, and then look. Draw the line. Mine's always going to smear. Put arrows on the end. That's what I get for using markers. Letter B. Letter B. We did okay? What kind of slope is this one? Negative, right? Because it's a negative number. Let's try the next one. Y equals 3/7 x plus 3. Yes, you can. So what's my y-intercept? Where am I going to put my point, CJ? Where am I going to go? Up 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay? Then what am I going to do for my slope, CJ? Well, up 3. Yep, so up 3. 1, 2, 3, over to the right 7. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. I'm only going to be able to do that once, aren't I? I won't be able to make 3 points. That's okay, though. That's a wide range, isn't it? I'll let that dry a little. Come on. Then draw it all the way across. Haha, that one was a little better. Your line. Rulers are just not meant to be for me. Based on your slope number, is this positive or negative? Positive. Now, what about this guy? I'm going to skip one. Y equals 3. Remember, we said the slope is 0, our y-intercept is 3. We have to remember, what I do with these is I just think about Vux Hoy. I never really think about any of this. So, Hoy, where is y equal 3? Where's the y-axis and where's 3, Emily? Well, this is 0, 0. So, where's y equal 3? Y-axis, y equals 3. Up 3, 1, 2, 3. And then Hoy, H-O-Y, tells us what kind of line does that make through that point? Horizontal. So what you're going to do is you literally plot that point and then left to right. It has to be straight on that line. So all you do is have to plot one point. And then if the computer asks you to make 2 points, just make a point right next to it that has to be still y is 3. And then just draw a horizontal line left to right. Mine's going to smear. I should just give up on the ruler. Only 10 minutes this time. Yeah, that was impressive. Usually 15. Okay. Just for a challenge, what if I said x equals 5? So this is a new variable. Since it says x equals, think of the x-axis. The x-axis is this one. If I start at the center, where is x equal positive 5? I'm going to write 5, right? So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to put a point. Now, that's saying, Vux Hoy, which word do I need? I need Vux, because it says x equals. What kind of line am I going to get? A straight up and down line. So through that point, I'm going to take my ruler, right? And I'm going to draw a straight up and down line through that point. Luckily, the grid can also help you, couldn't it? The grid gives you that line. Does that saying kind of help? Does that make sense? I think it helps a lot with trying to graph things. Now, what kind of slope does this guy have? Remember, Vux, vertical line, undefined slope. Stop tapping, please. The y equals equation, what kind of slope did that one have? 0 slope. Does that make sense? for the most part. So we're going to do this all together. I'm going to give you an equation. It's not going to be by itself. You're going to have to rewrite it, state the y and x intercept, and then you're going to graph it, okay? So you're going to do all of it. This, which will be just like your homework. I'm going to do one with you together right now. We're going to take our potty break, and then we'll do them on the board, okay? After our bathroom break is when we'll do board stuff usually. Okay, so this is your equation. I'm going to scoot down here so we have room to work, well, at least for me. Your equation is going to be, let me find one that I like. How about this guy? 3y minus 6 equals 2x. So we cannot say anything about it because it's not in y equals mx plus b form, is it? So what do we do to get it in y equals mx plus b form? What are we going to move first? Blake? The 6. Everybody said it. How do I move the 6 to the other side? No, it already says minus there, Risa. Add it. So we have, I'm going to write over here, 3y equals 2x plus 6, because the 2x should be in front. Now what am I going to do? Divide everything individually by 3. So then my equation's final answer is going to be what, Blake? Just don't forget the x and then plus 2. My honors kids also do this. When you type these in your equations, a lot of people, like Blake said it, he forgot to save the x. They forget to type it in. Don't forget to put the x in your equation, your final answer. Okay? So now looking at this, what's your slope and what's your y-intercept? Slope is 2/3, which is 2/3. What's my y-intercept? Now that we have that, can we graph it? Okay, what are we going to use to graph what first? Ooh, y-intercept. I'm going to start at 0, 0, and where am I going to go? Up to point. From that point, Connor, once I have my y-intercept down, what am I going to do to graph? All I did was plot my y-intercept. And I'm trying to graph. So once I have my y-intercept, how do I make another point? Ooh, close. What's the number you're using? 2/3. So use the 2 first, then the 3. So you go, well, no, you use the 2 from the B, then you go 2/3. So you go up 2, then over 3. So up 2 over 3. No, it was just coincidence. And then I would want to do it again just to make myself feel better. But I can use my ruler and do it. Once I have 2 to 3 points, make your line. You can use a ruler. I'm not, because I always blur it. Make sure it crosses your whole graph. What kind of slope is this? Positive. See, we only use one side, so if you need the other side for your homework, you'll still have more space. What? 3 minutes. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to stop this. We still have 3 minutes, so I'm going to